Hello YouTube, and welcome to another layout update. As you can see, I've got the table full of more goodies this time, so I guess let's take a second, take a quick look around, and then go ahead and get started. So as you can see in front of us, we've got the latest release from Rapido Trains. This is an HO scale, obviously, because that's the only thing I do, but just for those other ones watching, just in case, yeah, it's only for HO scale. So as I was saying, these are the latest Rapido products out there on the market. They're the new 53 high cube reefer containers. And as you can see, they've got them both in CP, the latest, I guess, multi-mark herald scheme that CP is doing. In other words, just two letters, and that's about it. And then the new, I guess what they would call land, sea, and rail scheme from CN. So as you can see, it's got a picture of, truck, train, and boat. But definitely interesting units. Compared to their first release of containers, I think they upped the game just slightly in terms of their paint job. Paint, for whatever reason, seems a lot more crisp, clear, and it actually looks like it's there, because you can actually see it reflect. Before, it looked almost like the Concord containers, where it was sort of just, inkjet printed on or something like that. But famous Rapido silver roof, all the nice details everywhere. And obviously it's got the reefer unit on the end. One thing I definitely found interesting was, they're sort of doing random reefer units, because you can see those are the CNs. And these are the CPs. So they're sort of mixing it up, making it a little bit more, I guess, random amongst which containers they put the different units. And they range from like carrier to heat king, things like that. So definitely interesting. So obviously they come in a 2-pack, either the 2-pack of CP or 2-pack CN for about... I think list is $29.99. I actually got these from Otter Valley, and I must say, god damn, was that quick shipping. I think I paid the night before, and pretty much the next day they were sitting in my mailbox. So, big shout out to Lauren and gang over there. I haven't really done much shopping in Otter Valley the last couple of years, and after that experience, I'm probably going to come back to them. But let's go ahead and move on. So next up is, I guess, not really a new release. In fact, it's probably a hard-to-find release from Athearn. This is basically their generic beverage truck that they sort of paint in a million different paint schemes, all the way from, Coke, Sprite, all the way down to Canada Dry, and in this case, Brewers Retail. So being in Ontario, we basically have our beer store. Our beer store is run by Brewers Retail, and they're the only ones that sort of buy from the actual breweries themselves and then distribute it out to the public, restaurants, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, being a huge fan of, collecting Canadiana, and especially the way things are going with the provincial government and everything, for all I know, there may not be a beer store or Brewers Retail around in the near or short future, just because, they're bringing beer to corner stores, grocery stores, things of that nature, gas stations even, I've seen. So the landscape's changing. I think it's turning into America a little bit, but while it's still Canada, I'm going to capture a little piece for myself. So I used to see these things all the time on the road as a child, so I mean, to find one up on eBay for an auction, it wasn't even crazy price too. I think my Canada Dry beverage truck I bought brand new from George's for I think $29.99. This ended up, with the auction costing me $39.99 plus shipping. No big deal, right? It's 10 years difference between I bought that one when I bought this one now, so I can live with that. But I mean, it's definitely mint condition. Hard to find. I've never actually seen one of these in this paint scheme before, so as soon as I saw it, I had to grab it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next couple items. Next little gem, or I guess goodie, that I was able to find off eBay was this Walthers bungalow. Now, this isn't just any bungalow, and this obviously isn't something that I built. This one was made by the infamous Pierre Dion, and apparently it actually came from one of his layouts. Now, you can see over here in the corner, I got a couple pictures of Pierre's layouts, or at least some of his previous layouts that he did. Looking on the internet, it really wasn't easy to find any information on him. So I mean, I can't, determine whether he's still with us, if he's dearly departed or whatnot. But I mean, what I did find was, like I said, a couple pictures that I just showed there of his layout, and then also the names of his two layouts. So I mean, if you guys want to go out there and sort of take a look. Apparently, they're famous. They were in a couple model railroad magazines, I believe, including Model Railroader. I wasn't able to find what issue, what year. So if anybody finds out any of that information, please feel free to pass it on to me. I'd love to know myself too, because I mean, just looking at this, damn, this is a nice job, right? Like even down to the weathering, like this really looks convincing. I mean, it's put together very nicely, and this was just an example of a small kit that he did. Imagine what the entire layout looks like. So I saw it on eBay. I had to get it. I mean, it looked good, and I really don't enjoy building the Walthers houses. They just, for whatever reason, don't go together that well, and Pierre definitely did a good job putting that one together. So, like I said, if anybody knows of his whereabouts or what he's up to or whatever, I'd love to get in contact with him and chat with him if he's, again, still with us. But the names of his two layouts were the CP Rail Manitoba and Minnesota subdivision and the CP Rail Quebec subdivision. I believe the Quebec one was his older layout, and then he dismantled it and then went ahead and built the Manitoba and Minnesota subdivision one. But like I said, details are sketchy. I had a hard time finding even just this little bit. But let's go ahead and move on. So I'm certain you can see that big pile of Ricko cars in the background, and I'll just go over this one up front first. Obviously, again, another item I got off eBay. This was the only one I've ever seen in my life. This was the only one I've ever been able to find. So obviously I had to get it. Again, like the other Ricko police car I got, wasn't cheap, but if they're that rare and whatever, then I don't mind spending the bucks. But over there, the whole Ricko Wall of Fame there basically is, I was able to find a company in Germany that sort of deals with model cars of various scales. So, with that, I was able to grab a couple. So I definitely got a few for myself. Obviously, example, Chrysler 300, the PT Cruiser, piece of crap. And obviously, whole bunch of police cars, and that sort of goes with one of the things that are coming up that I want to show you, and also one of the other things that I'll end up doing with something else that I got before, but I'll explain that when we come to it. But as you can see, there's the entire pile of Ricko. So I've got multiple of each sort of thing, and basically I do actually have them up on eBay. I've seen them go, up to like $70, $80 in an auction, which is just ridiculous. So I mean, I was able to pick up a couple extras that I basically don't need. So if anybody wants them, I'm selling them basically for like roughly $30 Canadian plus shipping on eBay. So again, if you guys are interested, just message me and I'll give you the links to the auction. But, I was kind of happy I was able to get, a couple different police cars. Obviously, some I'm going to use, a couple of the 300s and the Lexuses I'm going to use just in the auto distribution yard again. One day when I finally build my layout. Got to stop buying stuff before I build it, Jesus. But, yeah, that's about it. And then let's go ahead and move on. And here's basically part of the reason for all those police cars that I purchased and stuff is the new Walthers Modern Police Station. So, As you can see, it sort of follows suit with the rest of their modern line, right? They've updated the tooling. I believe they even changed manufacturing from China to Taiwan. I know for some people that won't really make a difference, but I've definitely sort of noticed it with the latest batch of Walthers products. They seem to go together, a lot better, a lot more hassle-free, even though, the newer kits, there's still some gaps here and there, right, which would be indicative of just fit and build issues. But well, what can you do? This one won't be so much up front and center on the layout. This will be sort of back off in the corner. But I mean, they're giving you the detail, right? You got the roof vent, the air conditioner, things like that. You get the the hydrometer, the gas meter, and they're starting to do that standard on every kit. And then obviously there's little lights and stuff. I haven't finished this one. The glazing I still got to put in. It's a little tricky, but I mean, I'm kind of happy because I'm assuming somebody from Walthers watched one of my previous videos where I was ranting, because this isn't basically the acetate sheets that you get to cut out. They actually molded acrylic, and you get to use that and insert it, and it actually works out a lot better. And in this case, it's slightly tinted a bit. Then obviously I'm going to add a Woodline Scenics lighting kit. The one complaint I do have is, again, no decals, no stickers, cardstock. So yeah, what I'm probably going to end up doing is scanning this, printing it on decal sheets, and then using it as a decal into the windows, just so there's still a little bit of light coming through, but obviously you're not seeing right through the entire structure. I did my typical bits, building this and painting it, and obviously you'll see little clips of that right there in the corner. But, I think it turned out pretty good. Glued in the roof, sprayed the interior walls and everything just to make sure that when I do illuminate it, there is no light bleed. So all in all, I'd probably give it about a 9 out of 10. And again, that's just mainly because, they keep using cardboard instead of actual decals. But moving on to the last and final bit of the update, while we're on the subject of decals, my OPP decals finally came in. And man, are these things tiny. So these are for the River Point Station black and white SUV that I had a couple videos ago. So as you can see, I don't know if you can actually tell, but these aren't just inkjet printed. It is raised. So you can actually tell that it was done with Alps printer, so I'm very happy. And then on top of that, they even give you some little license plates to cut out and stick. I doubt I'm going to use that because these things are bloody tiny. So those weren't bad. Like I said, I got 3 sets of them. Mix and match some of the numbers, some of the plates, but mainly it's just in case if I goof. So I thought those were interesting. I got them from eBay again. The guy's name is Police Decals and Deals. So he was pretty good. He actually didn't have them in HO scale. I had to sort of sweet talk him into that, but it was just basically a pretty please. And, he actually went off, tried sizing it and everything else. And sure enough, he ended up getting it, and I got him right here. So that's something to look forward to probably in the next couple of weeks in terms of videos. And that's basically just, me putting these on and hopefully finding some other police cars. I was thinking about, possibly sort of, taking off the decal, because I can't really tell if it's a decal or if they actually painted it. I'm going to basically try scraping it, see if I can get a completely white car out of it. And then if I can, I'll definitely be, painting it black and white, and then putting the OPP logos on the side as well. And if that's the case, who knows, maybe I'll start selling those things as well. But that's about it for this update. So until next time, see you around, have fun, and enjoy.